Good afternoon, everyone. Thank you for joining our webinar. As result of collaborations between Bentley Systems and our channel partner in Philippines in Prasis, we will discussing the topic of the structural workflow with the collaborations, especially for the design for steel detailings for STAAD users. To start it, our speakers today, there is engineer Ershie Clemente from Infrasys engineering managers, and myself, I'm Junius Halawa. I'm consultant from the Bentley System Facilities Engineering. I'm also a structural engineer in Indonesia. For the webinar itself, we are going to discuss how we can work with the structural works we usually have as a structural engineer. I believe we already familiar on what we are calling for the BIM modeling. So we do the 3D modeling for the projects such as buildings or even airport. And we proceed for the structural analysis. So you can use many software there, especially for Bentley system, we have a STAAD.Pro. And also to have a proper deliverables, and then we need to make 2D drawings with some detailings required. So to bridge all these steps as a whole process for structural design and analysis, we would like to show and introduce to you all on how we can do the workflow with the efficiency and dynamic on updating if any structural geometry need revisions on our 2D deliverables. So we are talking much more of these topics later on. So moving forward, we usually notice that when we are working with the structural project, and then we're supposed to have Archi 3D concept design for architect, and then we are trying to do the structural analysis. We build the models, and then after we finish the analysis, and then we create the 2D drawings for our deliverables. So today we would like to offer another solutions how we can optimize this current workflow, utilize the feature of ISM. So we call it ISM. It's an abbreviation for integrated structural modeling. So every 3D models, we can model it, and then we can share also this 3D model back to the Archi, and then every architect can revise it, and every updated files can be used directly to our product in structural analysis, let's say for STAAD.Pro, and also we can push also for the creating 2D drawing deliverables for the ProStructure. So that's the workflow that we would like to highlight and emphasize today. So how we can utilize one files consistently, we can use for the back for the revision for the Archi, and then we can use forward to do the analysis in STAAD.Pro, and then provide also the 2D drawing deliverables using ProStructures. So to discuss it, we are using the sample projects, this is the real project. This is housing project, small project. It's located in Papua New Guinea. So it's already designed and still being on construction by this year, which is mostly using the steel structure. And also the materials, it's used the steel post and some of timber and also lightweight steel. And then for the substructure, of course, we are using the concrete footings. We have a pedestal, and it used this Australian code in the process of the structural analysis. So what is the ProStructure? So the ProStructure is one of the software that Bentley provided. We are focusing on the modeling or detailing of the structure. So once you have the ProStructure, at least you will have this workflow, which is steel. So it's allow you to do the steel detailings. and steel modeling as well. And also the concrete, reinforced concrete detailings. And of course, if you have a capability or you used to use the CAD software like a microstations, of course, this is by default available inside the ProStructure. You can do the 2D drawings modelings using microstations. And later on, for our presentation to clients, we can use also Luminarity. So what is Luminarity? It helps us to create such nice video or image for real-time presentation of our designs. We will talk it later. So to start it, so we are talking about starting as a structural engineer. So we have our model in STAAD.Pro, and then we export it to the ISM. Okay, we create a repository, so we process it. So these ISM features, we have it in every structural software in Bentley. And then for the start, we have the ISM. And then you can just follow the process. You can create the file to conform it. It takes some time. It depends on how big your model is. And then it will show us the structural synchronizer. And then at this point, we can select which elements we want to include, what element we want to exclude. So it allows us to select again what is the elements that we want to export to the ISM. So we can select all if we want to export all the files, all the elements from our structural analysis. Okay, and then we will find there is a file with ISM, and this ISM file we can use it or import it using ProStructure. So when you open the ProStructure, you will have this such interface, and then you create a new files for you. And then from this new file, you can import this ISM file. So that's how you can start work with this process. So you import the ISM file. Okay. You can confirm all the information that it brings using the ISM. So it can detect also the materials. And then, yeah, it's slowly will be import all the file. So now you can get the 3D models from your STAAD.Pro. This model will be used for our modeling in ProStructures, still modelings, and then we can create also the deliverables for the drawings and everything. So to model the structure in the ProStructure, of course, we need to, first of all, we need to have a work frame. This is important for us to do the positionings and to create all the 2D drawing deliverable in our project later on. So you can just select and give the proper properties like well length, width, and height for the geometry. Help us also to define the grid line in our 2D drawings. Okay, and then you can define every dimension or divisions. You can also define how it looks like, the grid line numberings there, text. Okay. And then you can adjust the work frame according to the column line. Okay. Now you already have the proper work frame, so we are ready to continue for the modeling itself. Okay. So of course, when we import the ISM file, this is bringing the node by node elements from the STAAD.Pro, but it sometimes we can recognize that our beams, which is it looks like a continuous beam. Okay, so we need to make some modifications. We can define okay the 3D model. So in order to have a really nice 2D representation in our drawings later on. Okay, we can do the divide, and then we can trim each objects. Okay, trim the object. Okay, and then we can just do the small things to make it more realistic in our ProStructures. So this is just a basic modelings. It's easy to learn. And of course, after you're doing the modifications, I show you also how you can create some part of the connections, such as base plate. So because it has a pedestal from the concrete, and then we have a real base plate, we can create it. And then dynamically, we can modeling the base plate using the features that attach to the base plate command in the ProStructures. Okay. Okay, you can arrange and adjust all the informations according to your project. And then you can also back again to copy, to clone all this base plate. You just need to create one, and then you just clone this base plate to another footing step. Okay, and then you can also create the anchor bolt. Okay, for the anchor bolt of your project. There is so many types. You can just select according to your requirements. And those anchor bolt also can be copy and paste or clone to another type of foundations. So that's how you can proceed to do the base plate modelings. And for the connection as well, because this is a hollow steel structure, and then we don't use the bolt for the connection, so we are using the weldings. So for us, of course, we can do the welding and bolting connections in ProStructures. But before we are doing the welding connection, we need to make the connection nice according to the how it would be connected. You can add the top plate, so you can insert the top plate. Okay. Yeah, you can adjust also the orientations where it should be located. And then to do the welding connections, and then you need to change the display style to be in wireframe to enable us to easy to see how the welding appropriately attached to the connection. So there is auto connection with the weldings. Also, it allows us to do the manual to tracing all the connections from the weldings. So the first one I just show you is the welding, and then this is the second one as the manually I can tracing all the edge of the connections to attach the welding. So you can use the preferable way on the placement of the welding itself. Okay. So this welding is not appear in the 3D model in the display style except for the wireframe because it will be really embedded to the lines. But you can see and check it with the wireframe mode. So if we are moving forward, we are also able to create concrete models, concrete elements, especially for the footings. So this is the pedestal we required to have it. So you can just create this pedestal from columns, and then you can set up all the options. Okay. Right. And then yeah, you can just hover on the intersection of the columns. Okay. And then you can just define the orientations. Okay, define the orientation where it should be extended. And then now you have a columns with the geometry that you already set up. And from that, you can also place a footings like automatically footing placement by just selecting the columns. So it will be automatically placing the footings and also the pedestal. Now we will have already concrete structure, but we need to reinforce. Okay, so you can set up all the reinforcement from the column itself. Okay, all the bar quantity, how about number of rebar from another side, and also in this one you can also define the laps and the stock length. So this is really important for the bar bending schedules later on. According to the manufacturer you have of the steel bar, and then you can define what is the mill length and stock length. So it will be automatically create for you the laps. Okay. So all the settings can be adjusted. The stirrup as well, you can define it. Right. And the same also with the footing connections, footing rebars. So there is some options you need to play with to have a proper according to your requirements. You can show the rebar in line or even in the cylinders 3D. So that's how you can starting modeling from model we have from STAAD.Pro. So you can easily use this model from STAAD.Pro and then proceed to the detailing in the ProStructure. So in this part, my colleagues will be Ershie will be presenting it. Ershie, back to you.
Yeah, thank you, Junius. Can you hear me?
Yeah, sure. I can hear.
Okay, good morning po sa ating mga attendees. Okay, so by the way, ito pong project na pinapakita namin. This is one of my projects po, personal projects. So gusto ko pong i-share na yung workflow na to yung ginamit para ma-deliver ito pong project na to. From Papua New Guinea. Actually, 20 housing po na typical. So, during the process po ng design, nagkaroon ng revision. O can you play the video, Genius?
Yeah, sure.
And ProStructure po yung ginamit natin. So, regarding revision, very easy lang yung gagawin. Actually, you can just modify the work frame na pinakita po ni Junius kanina. Yan, pwede po kayo mag-add ng additional grid dito sa ating work frame. So, ang major revision po yung nangyari dito sa ating project. So, nagkaroon po ng additional grid line. So, na-extend yung portion dun sa likod ng structure. So, in-extend po yung veranda. So, in-extend siya. So, ginawa dito is naglagay ng additional grid and then in-stretch lang po yung ating structure. So, as you can see, pwede nyo pong i-manipulate yung inyong model using different views. You have your isometric views, your plan, and your elevation. So, typical lang po na pag-stretch. And actually, very user-friendly naman itong ProStructure dahil yung mga icons na nakikita nyo dito, madali lang siyang gamitin. Okay, and then maybe magtataka kayo, anong mangyayari dun sa ating structural analysis dun sa STAAD.Pro? So, since change natin po itong ating model, so syempre, since ito po ay BIM workflow, so what we are showing you is a BIM workflow. So, syempre, yung ating structural analysis din po is mag-a-update din. Okay, so dito po, syempre, mag-a-add ng additional beam. Syempre, kailangan pag nag-add kayo or nag-modify kayo dito sa ating ProStructure, meron siyang counterpart na checking dun sa analysis. Dapat ma-check natin if passed or failed pa yung ating structure, yung changes na yon. So, papakita ko po sa inyo dito. So, nag-add lang ng additional beam or additional joist para dun sa extension na nangyari. And then even dun sa top, dun sa may truss area, nag-add din ng additional. Okay, so copy-paste lang po ito. Copy-paste lang. Any modification po dito is ma-adjust siya automatically. So, kinopy-paste lang ito. Or pwede siyang parang offset lang, ganun. And for those na magtatanong po, if required ba ng offsets, kasi di pa po sa STAAD.Pro, nag-a-assign kayo ng offsets para po mas maging maayos yung ating model. Sa analysis and dito din sa ating model, dito sa ating BIM model, mas preferably mag-offset kayo sa STAAD.Pro. Pero if ever na hindi kayo mag-offset, usually kapag steel, no need naman or hindi naman required yung offset, hindi masyadong malaking effect. Pwede nyo dito na lang gawin sa ProStructure yung mga offsets nyo. So anyway, detailing software ito. So i-correct nyo din po dito lahat ng mga cutting, yung mga connections, and so on. So once done po yung revision, so ready na tayo po para i-transfer or i-update yung ating analysis dun sa ating STAAD.Pro. So ang gagamitin natin is same workflow lang po nung ginawa natin nung tinransfer natin yung file natin from STAAD to ProStructure using ISM. So from ProStructure, i-export nyo lang yan. So ProStructure file type, ISM. So i-update natin yung repository. So take note, yung file na kinreate kanina po ni Sir Junius, yun lang din po yung i-update natin. So same file, hindi natin kailangan mag-create ng new file. Okay, so accept nyo lang po yung update. And then sundan nyo lang po yung mga magpa-prompt na mga dialog box. So syempre meron diyang mapping na tinatawag. Okay, and then maglo-load yung ISM natin or yung integrated structural model. So ito rin po yung nakita nyo kanina. So yung mga update nandito, pwede nyo pong makita kung alin yung mga na bago. So katulad niyan, hin-highlight niya yung area na mayroong changes. So yun yung ating mga update or yung major revision na gagawin natin dun sa structural analysis natin. So we just have to accept the changes. And then if okay na, i-click na lang natin yung update. So ganun lang naman, i-update nyo lang. And then let the program run hanggang sa ma-save nyo po yung ating ISM model. So it's up to you. Pwede po kayong maglagay ng comment kung major revision ba to or kung ano man. Masasave naman po lahat ng logs. Kung sino yung nag-edit, kung sino po yung nag-create ng mga revision. So ma-record yan. Pati yung timestamp kung kailan nyo po in-update. Okay, so once done, balik lang kayo sa STAAD.Pro. So open nyo lang yung STAAD.Pro. Junius, I think we need the next slide for this.
Okay.
Sorry. So you have to open your STAAD.Pro. So ito po. I-update na natin. So ang gagawin nyo lang naman dito is i-open nyo lang yung ISM na in-update natin from our ProStructure. So kailangan nyo lang mag-create ng panibagong file kasi hindi natin i-overwrite yung original STAAD natin. Yung revision 1 yun. So since ito ay revision 2 na or second revision na. So create kayo ng panibagong file for your new revision. And then once created, kailangan lang natin i-open yung ating ISM. So create lang natin yung blank na STAAD.Pro model. And then dun sa file menu, go to ISM and then new from repository. So mag-create tayo ng new model based dun sa bagong revision from our ProStructure. So let the program run. Hanapin nyo lang yung in-update nyo na ISM. Open nyo yun. Yan, from ProStructure yun galing. Then run nyo lang. And then automatically, ISM will model our STAAD.Pro from our ProStructure file gamit yung ISM. So depending on the size of your model kung gaano po katagal yung pag-run. So mag-open po ulit yung ISM viewer. So this is the viewer. So pinapakita lang niya sa inyo yung, parang pinapa-verify lang niya sa inyo yung i-update nyo. So accept nyo lang and then update the file. Let the program run po. Minsan matagal yan. It will take time. Kasi i-model niya po lahat ng mga elements na nababasa niya dun sa ISM. So, in the background, you can see, minomodel po niya yung galing dun sa ISM. So, ito na yung mayroong revision. Okay, kasi sometimes ito yung mga nagiging problem po ng mga structural engineers natin, yung mga revision. So, minsan, kailangan nyo nang i-model ulit from scratch. So, using this workflow po, no need. Hindi nyo kailangan mag-model from scratch kasi i-update lang natin yung ISM natin or yung integrated structural model. Just wait for it na maging 100% po and then pwede na natin i-continue yung ating structural analysis. Yan. Anyway, chine-check po niya kung merong error dun sa ating model. So, hintayin nyo lang. If ever merong error or warning, magpa-prompt yan dyan. Okay, so as you can see po, originally hindi po naka-offset yung model sa STAAD.Pro, yung pinaka-original model. Nung dinala na siya sa ProStructure and then in-adjust na natin yung detailing doon. Nung in-update natin ngayon yung STAAD.Pro analysis, nakita niyo po sa background, automatic pong mag-a-adjust yun. Okay, so ito po, sasabihin niya if may error or warning, so dapat no error, no warning. Okay lang yung messages. Even yung ating mga releases, yung mga specifications, mariread po niya yun. Okay, so i-review nyo na lang siguro yung properties. So, nandun pa rin yung properties from ProStructures. Kinuha niya yon. pwede nyo i-3D para makita nyo po. So, hindi tayo nag-model from scratch. Nandyan pa rin yun. So, kumbaga, na-preserve niya yung ating structure. Okay, and then, syempre, yung material, ganun din. Nakita nyo naman po. Same material pa rin. No need pong mag-create ng new material. And then, regarding sa ating loading, so syempre, yung loadings, nandyan din yung loadings nyo. Ayan, so yung material, so nire-review lang natin. Yung material, ganun pa rin. Yung supports, nandun pa rin po yung ating pin supports. Same nung original model. Yung loading, nandyan pa rin po yung ating loadings, including po yung mga original natin na kinreate. So even ito, kailangan nyo i-review para po ma-check nyo kung tama pa ba yung mga assignments ng load. So apparently, okay pa rin naman siya. So ang gagawin na lang natin dito is i-analyze para ma-check natin if pasado pa yung ating structure. Okay, so run your analysis. Okay, so we will check po yung capacity if passed pa siya. Kapag meron na siyang failure, kaya syempre kailangan nating baguhin yung size if ever may failure. So dito natin sa STAAD.Pro papalitan. Okay, so kung titingnan nyo po, yan, kung marunong po kayo mag-STAAD.Pro, syempre makikita nyo dito yung utilization ratio. Ito po mga numbers na nakikita nyo. So lahat naman ay less than 1 pa rin. So ibig sabihin, yung changes na ginawa ko or yung major revision na nangyari ay past pa rin naman yung ating structure. Ayun, so makikita nyo siya dyan. So no need mag-change ng sizes. Okay, so ang remaining na lang po na process, syempre po, ibabalik natin ulit ito sa ProStructure para i-continue natin yung detailing process. So paano siya ibabalik sa ProStructure? So kailangan nyo lang po ulit i-update yung ating ISM. Okay, so para ma-update, so ito yung model. Itong part naman na to, so na-update na siya. So if ever na-adjust yun na po yung kailangan yung mga adjustments, pwede na kayo agad mag-create ng report using your model. So diretso na to. Okay, so assuming po na na-adjust nyo na po yung mga dapat i-adjust, syempre yung mga dapat yung i-cut dito sa ProStructure, pwede na kayong mag-create ng take-off or material take-off. Okay, so yung material take-off nito po, nakadepende sa detail na ginawa nyo or sa model na ginawa nyo kung gaano siya ka-accurate. So, mas detail yung gagawin nyo. I mean, yung mga putol nyo po dun sa mga beams and columns nyo. Even yung mga splicing, kapag naputol nyo siya doon, makikita nyo po dito, pag nag-create kayo ng drawing part list, ipapakita niya sa inyo po yung ating take-off. Of course, for concrete, meron din po ito equivalent na take-off for concrete. So later on, Junius will show you how to create bar bending schedule for concrete. Okay, so as you can see here, ito yung ating part list. So ito yung pinaka-take-off or yung bill of materials kung steel. So nandyan yung length, yung height, so yung summary po ng ating structure. Okay, so using ProStructures, you can diretso na kayo, i-model nyo po yung inyong STAAD.Pro model, pwede nyo na pong i-detail, pwede nyo na pong i-material take-off, pwede nyo na rin lagyan ng connection. Take note, connection design or connection analysis ay hindi po dito sa ProStructure. Separate software nyo po gagawin yung analysis po ng connections. I-model nyo lang siya kay ProStructure. So once na na-model nyo na po yung inyong mga connections, base plate, your pedestal, mga reinforcements, and then ready na po kayo to create your deliverables. I think before we create the deliverables or yung mga drawings, Junius will show you another software for visualization. Junius?
Yeah, thank you, Ershie. So yeah, to continue, of course, usually one advantage that we can have in the ProStructure, we have a workflow for the visualization. So it's embedded software, companion software. We call it LumenRT. So from the LumenRT, we can just export our models. Okay. And then from that, we can create simple representations for the image and video. So we can add accessories like how it looks like the site. We can set up also the sun positions, everything's, and we can add like grass or trees there or peoples or car. So yeah, of course we can do the some modifications, and then we can yeah, add some objects like this one. So I just go through quickly to show you how we can do it. So this object can be dynamically, if you have like a road beside these models, and then you can make it like a live road. It is a live motorcycle or even the car, and also the people can go around. You can also take a snapshot and create a simple video. Okay, create a simple video, right? And then yeah, you can play around. This is the one of the advantage that, in my opinion, is really important for us, because it's just a free companion with the ProStructure itself. And then for the drawing productions, actually, I want to let you know first that we need some works behind that. We need to define like how the border or the frames of our sheet, or we call it usually a title block, represent on our drawings. So there is a step-by-step here. So you need to configure and select what is the size of your sheet as well. Okay, create the sheet that this is the sheet that will be used for all your projects. You can also differentiate with another projects. Okay. So back to the model. Once you already prepare the frames, the sheet, and then you can just proceed to the creation of the drawings. Okay, so you can just go to the drawings workflow, and then yeah, you can place the call out for the plan. This is, for example, the plan, and then you can save it to the every locations of folders under your work set. I just save it, and then it will be give you the dynamic cut plan of the ground floor here. So this is one way to do the creation of the drawings. I will show you another way later on, but for this case, if you try to imitate what we usually have in the CAD practice to make floor plan, sections, or elevations. So you can adjust all the area where you cut it, and then yeah, just push back to the drawings, and then all the things that updated will be shown automatically. Okay, and you can also annotate this drawing according to the dimensioning. So you can make annotations. You can also place the text. Okay, you can also place the text. And this dimension is dynamics actually. So if you just select one of the handle, and then you can change it, and then every information for the length will be updated automatically. Okay, but take a note, it's not embedded to the line of the column line. So yeah, you can just move it around to update it according to the column lines. This is how you can create the plane. And then once you create the plane, of course, perhaps you have sample sections. So you can just place the section callout. Okay, so this is the section callout. I want to make a section callout at that area. So I can just give name section AA. Okay, I create a drawing models for the section itself. Just hit open. And then now you have sections models. But if you see, if this is not the section that you wish, because the area might be different. So you need to see if there is no column in the area of cutting the section plan. So you need to move a bit the cut area, okay, to include the columns to see the representation of the column itself. So you can enlarge the area if you want to see another part of the drawing itself. Now, automatically, it will be updated for you as well. Right? So after you have the 2D drawings, of course, you need to provide a sheet which contains the title block or frames for your reports. So to do that, you need to knows that you need to select the sheet file as 2D metric sheet, which is we already create in the creation of sheet before. And then, yeah, create every sheet model for your report. You can name it according to your requirements. And then it will bring the sheet. And these frames can be customized actually. So when you create the sheet, you can customize and select how the title block or the frames will be looks like. So you can create, for example, at this point, I create 5 sheets, and then this sheet will be utilized to place my drawing on the sheet. But before we can place the drawing on the sheet, one thing that we need to do is like a sheet index. So how this works and what it benefit of this sheets index is to organize all our models and drawings to enable us easily tracing where our drawings located. So let me just show you the process. You can just edit the informations, how it numbering, the sheet number, sheet properties. Yeah. So this number and this sheet prefix will be automatically reflected on the sheet later on. So after you create a new sheet index, and then you can just add the sheet which is you already create just now. Okay, you can just add on this. You can just select it one by one, or yeah, you can also do it in the one way. You can select it all. Okay, so if you see, the name will be changed for BS4 to be S1 according my prefix I assigned just now. But the title, drawing title still be the 4BS1, but the model itself will be changed. Okay, so this is how we can customize our sheet informations. So once you already assign this every sheet to the sheet index, okay, you will have those things to place your models. Okay, so let's say if you want to change the sheet number prefix, and then you can just go to edit the properties, and then it will be changed automatically as well. Okay, so dynamically when you place the drawings, and then it will be reflected also where the drawings will be placed. So how we can do that? This is simple demonstration. I call again my drawing for the ground floor. Okay, I place it, And as I show you before that on this drawing for this ground floor layout, there is a sections I already placed. So we can see, okay, we can adjust first the drawing itself. It will give you the title names. So it say that this is the S1, which is this is the sheet number prefix. And this is the section where I place on the plane ground floor column layout. So if you see there is a drawing identifier still blank. So this drawing identifier and sheet number will be updated once the sections place. So I open another sheet and then place this section on this sheet. Okay. Okay, I define the scale. Doesn't appear because we need to activate the live nestings. So because this is the cut sections from our models. Now, if you see the name is section I, this is the first drawing on the sheet S2. So you can edit also the name if you want to edit it. But if you back to the sheet of the plan and then all the drawing identifier where the sections place now updated accordingly. So you can easily tracing where your section located according to information that you have on the plan. So another things that may be useful for us using ProStructure is how do we make a fabrication drawings. So from the steel workflow, we need to make a positionings first for our steel. Okay. You can define what is the settings of your positionings actually, how it's every element will be numbered, and then process automatically all the members. You can choose all, or you can filter if just some of the elements that you want to positionings. Now from the list, and then it will show you every elements. Okay, and then we can go to create our drawings or fabrication drawings. Using the detail standard, we'll see it highlight for the single part. This is the single part that we already positioning. We can also show the grouping for the connections, but in this case, just showing the single part and the view. But I want to create a new view for my fabrication drawings. So let's say I want to create like the same what I have for the ground floor column layout. So I just create another work frame or another view. So I just give the names. Okay, and then just select the view. Now, if you select the view, and then you can also define how the distance for cutting front rear distance to show how it looks like. And now just refresh the view, and then you will see there is another new view, ground floor layout. And also, I want to create like a sections for my fabrication drawings. So I have like a back view. Let's say the back view, this is the back view. And then the same way, I create another work frame. Okay. Name it accordingly. And then, the same process as well. If you see, there is a back view already created. Now you can just refresh it, and there is a back view at the top, below the anchor plan. Okay. So after you create the view, you need to assign it to the detail styles available. So you can also involve the single part to see how it difference. Now you have three type. There is single part, and also there is a view. So you can hover and then create to preview how it looks like the single part for the fabrication drawings. So all those things, all how it looks like, it governed by the detail styles. Okay. So you can change the detail styles later on. Yeah. So it automatically create for us the proper fabrication drawings. Okay. So you can edit this style actually to change perhaps the how it looks like in the dimensioning, 2D display, all the color representations. So you can just play around with these settings, and then you will have a nice representation of the drawings according to your requirements. Right. So once you have these views, and then you need to push it to 3D to create drawings for us to be able to place on the sheet. Okay. Now, if you see in the next step, which is insert, and then you will see there is another 3 drawings already created for us. And then we can just go back to create the drawing models. So this drawing model we assume as 2D drawings sheet. Okay. Now you can go to the drawing production, and then there is title, and there is a border as well. Border, yeah, border drawing templates. You can select the size. You can edit also the type of the sheet. Okay, and then you can just place it, and then it will generate for you the sheet. And then again, to call out all these drawing fabrication drawings that you already created, you can just hit the detail standard, and then you can just right click and then insert 2D. Okay. So let's say we started with the back view first. Okay. You can just drag and drop it on the sheet. Okay. So the representation, it depends on the detail style. So you need to work in the detail styles and then show also the scales itself. Okay, so that's how you can work with the fabrication drawings. Another thing is about the bar bending schedule. So we are talking, there is footings there. There's a pedestal, and then first of all, we can just generate also our positioning first. We can select where our template of our positionings. Okay, just process it. Okay, and then it will be ask us to select what element do we want to process. And then now we have the result of positioning of the concrete itself. Okay, now we have the shapes, all the number, the mark of our rebar and also the concrete. And then we can create the part list. Okay, you can just change also the informations to be represent on your report later on. And yeah, you can also subtract rebar from the concrete volume, or you can also include the concrete volume as well. In this case, I just ignore the concrete volume and then create the part list file. It will processing there. And then before we print it, we can just preview and we select the template. Okay. We can change where we want to export it later on. I want to make it in the PDF and also the size of the paper. Again, get started. And then now it will be showing for you the bar bending schedules. Okay. And then after you satisfied with this preview, and then you can just print it to have the PDF report of these bar bending schedules. Okay. Yeah, just select the directory when you place it and give the name and then just hit OK. And then once you need to show the bar bending schedules, and then yeah, you can just share this PDF. Right. Okay. So there is a timestamp. There is everything information that you already set up when you create the drawing part list. So I will hand it over to Ershie to cover on overall what is the advantage using the ProStructure. Back to you, Ershie.
Thank you, Junius. Okay, so regarding po sa advantage ng ProStructures, maybe some of you will ask what is the advantage towards Rcdc. Okay, so since Rcdc is only for detailing for concrete, advantage of using ProStructure is pwede rin siya sa steel. Okay, so first advantage po na pwede kong ma-share is yung integrated workflow. Since yung workflow natin pinakita ko sa inyo kanina, using iTwin Analytical Synchronizer or yung ISM, Integrated Structural Model, madali lang pong mag-transfer ng model from your STAAD.Pro papunta sa ProStructure. And even vice versa. If ever meron kayong mga revisions, mas madali pong mag-change ng analytical model. So, ganun yung workflow. Mas integrated siya. Compared dun sa nakasanayan natin ng workflow, which is yung from STAAD, and then pag nagdo-drawing na kayo using CAD, and then pag may revision, uulitin nyo na naman po yung ating model, tapos uulitin na naman natin yung drawings. So, yun yung isa sa advantage po ng ating ProStructures. Integrated yung workflow. And then another thing po is yung madaling gamitin yung ProStructure. Kasi ito pong platform ng ProStructure ay microstation based. So kung nakita nyo naman po yung interface, so yung mga icons, actually halos same interface siya nung STAAD.Pro. So ganong interface with ribbon, and then madali lang siyang i-navigate. If ever po na meron mga kailangan kayo ng mga additional or advanced na mga kailangan gawin sa detailing, makikita nyo po lahat dun sa utilities. Anyway, may mga tinatawag na workflow po dito sa ating ProStructures. Pwede nyo pong i-switch yung workflow between steel detailing, which is yung ProSteel, or pwede rin nyo rin pong i-switch to concrete detailing, which is ProConcrete, or pwede nyo rin pong i-switch into pure drawing or CAD application, which is MicroStation. So, pwede nyo rin siyang gamitin as CAD kahit hindi po kayo nag-model sa STAAD.Pro. Gusto nyo lang mag-CAD drawing, pwede rin yan. And pwede nyo rin pong i-switch into visualization, katulad po nakita nyo kanina, to Lumen RT. And marami pa po. Meron pa siyang iba pang utilities na pwede nyo gawin. Even 3D modeling, pwede rin po kayong mag-create doon. And then, another advantage of using ProStructure, siguro po is yung all-in-one detailing, drawing production, and reports application siya. Which is hindi siya comparable sa Rcdc. Since si ProStructure, aside from detailing, nakakapag-create na kayo ng drawing dito na din po. Hindi lang siya basta general arrangement drawing. Even yung detailing, pwede nyo pong ayusin dito po. So, pinakita lang po namin kanina yung application sa isang simple housing project. Pero si ProStructure is kaya po niyang cater ng kahit gaano ka-complicated and gaano kalaking project. So, you can use it into your big project. And then pagdating sa reports, aside from yung pinakita namin na bar bending schedule, yung takeoff, marami pa po kayong reports na pwedeng i-extract from ProStructures. So yun lang po yung ilan sa mga advantage na tingin ko useful sa atin. Katulad po sa akin, so ginamit ko yung workflow na ito para mas mapabilis. Aside from BIM workflow, ito itong pinakita natin, BIM workflow, syempre makakatipid kayo sa time, cost-effective din siya, and then pagdating sa revision, mabilis lang. So, ang pinaka-highlight siguro nito pong workflow na to, itong collaborative structural workflow na to, is yung integration. Hindi siya putol-putol. So, may parang isang model lang yung gagamitin nyo hanggang sa drawing production. So, yun yung isa sa mga advantage. So, I think yun yung mga advantages po na makukuha nyo pag ginamit natin itong workflow na to. So, isa siya sa pinaka-efficient na workflow in my perspective sa mga nagamit ko po na mga application. So, yun yung pwede nyo pong makuha dito po sa workflow na to. Junius, do you have anything to add?
Yeah, sure. So, to comply all these things, I think Ershie already cover what is the highlight of the benefit or advantage we are using the ProStructures. So you can also go to our website. We have a website and we have our YouTube channels if you want to learn more about the ProStructures. And also you can share me any questions or query to my email. And there is another facilities that we provide as well. You can go to the learnbentley.com. You can just sign up, create your account, and then there is a lot of video, which is there is discussions with the workshop. Also, there is a special interest group, and there is a live training as well, same as we did today. And you can join also the Bentley events.
Thank you, Junius.
Thank you, Ershie, and thank you everyone for joining the webinar. We are really more happy to see you again, and hopefully this webinar give advantage benefit for you all in terms of the knowing about how we can collaborate in the structural workflow, especially for STAAD users by utilize the ProStructure. Thank you and good afternoon. See you in the next webinar. Thank you all.